Welcome to Broken Tusk Rising, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition actual play in the Galarian campaign setting. We're playing through the Quest for the Frozen Flame adventure path.
I'm Shaun, and I'm playing Andreas Witchborn, the human magus.
I'm Jessica, and I'm playing Xankath, the halfling fighter.
I'm Janette, and I'm playing Jonesy, the human cleric.
This is Josh, and I'm playing Korgo, the human barbarian.
Last time on Broken Tusk Rising, the heroes arrived at Rockloom, scouted the area, met a Korrid named Shaggy Shemvin, and persuaded him to help them restore the rock that he had broken. He then accompanied them back to the Following, where the heroes then saved some mammoths from a giant porcupine, and Xankath reluctantly tamed and befriended the giant porcupine. After that, they returned to the camp, walked around the camp at night. Andreas watched as Picano returned a giant polar bear to the camp and boasted of his kill. Then, the next morning, the day of the Green Moon Festival, they met with Grandfather Ewa, who explained the history of the tribe and how it related to this threatening other tribe that the heroes had seen signs of. And he named them the Burning Mammoths. And we left off with the heroes listening to the end of his explanation and having an opportunity to ask some questions if they wanted.
Grandfather Iowa, actually, first, before I even talk to him, do Andreas or Jonesy know anything about the Burning Mammoths? Like, we fought in the Crusades.
Right.
Do we know anything about them?
You certainly know of members of Mammoth Lord followings who contributed to the Crusade. In fact, they were some of the earliest to join the fight, before you even joined. They usually joined other units, while the followings would camp in a relatively safe place behind the front lines. You think you may have heard of a group known as the Burning Mammoths. You're not sure if it's the same group or a group with a similar name. For you, the name Burning Mammoth, you think maybe conjures memories of cruelty and ruthlessness and brutality, but again, it might not be the same group. It doesn't feel like a following that could be related to these kind folk that have taken you in. So you don't remember a big group called the Burning Mammoths that you actively interacted with or heard a lot about. You think you may have heard about them, but you're more familiar with seeing members of the Mammoth Lord followings as individuals embedded in other units. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, totally.
Iowa, shouldn't the Burning Mammoths be our allies if they were once part of the Following and they fought, presumably, on the side of the good and mortals here on Galarian against the demons from the Abyss? Shouldn't we kind of get along a little bit?
When they learned we had hidden the primordial flame, they abandoned us to fight the demons in the east, believing they could be victorious even without the sacred fire. They took the Burning Mammoth banner with them, along with the name, forcing us to make a new banner and choose a new name. They called us traitors.
Grandfather, what is the purpose of this primordial flame? Would it have granted power, benefited them against the demons? Is there some reason that it was hidden?
It is a blessing from Sister Cinder, a light that led us out of darkness and made the land fertile. As to what happened to it, that is the worst part of this sad story,
he says, looking at the glowing rock in his fire pit.
We did not hide it well enough. It was stolen.
Ewa looks away, clearly disturbed.
No more of this for now. There's much to do before the ceremony. I will explain the fate of the primordial flame to you tomorrow.
And as if on cue, the hot round rock cracks in half with a loud pop. Ewa looks at the open tent flap, then at you, and then back at the fire pit.
I love the nonverbal get out of my cues.
Right?
All right.
He's good with them.
Yeah.
Enough for today.
Xankath will go.
Okay.
Yeah, Korgo's out of there.
Yep.
So here's the deal. He gave you 4 tasks to complete in 8 hours. Each is a separate challenge worth preparation points. Your goal is to accumulate as many preparation points as you can. I can't tell you what they're for. I can just tell you that you want more of them. Okay?
Yeah, we like points. We get
Sure.
it.
Points are good.
It's good
Always.
when the line goes up.
Gosh.
When we get drafted next season, our preparation points are highly rated.
That's right.
You know? Okay.
So each challenge has a set of skill check DCs. The entire party must be present for each activity. Only one character can roll a check to complete the activity. Up to one other character can aid. But remember that the DC to aid is 20. So it's difficult at your level to aid. It might be better to have another character try a second attempt if the first one fails.
So it's either aid an attempt or 2 attempts.
If the first one fails, you can make another attempt, yes.
Okay.
And there'll be some more rules that go along with what happens if you fail that we'll explain when we get there.
And rules clarifying question. The aid action says the typical DC is 20, but the GM might adjust that.
It is 20.
So it is 20 in the adventure? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They specifically say in the adventure that you should remind the PCs that at this level, it's difficult for them to aid because the DC is 20.
Remind us that we suck.
Yes.
Korgo's pretty good at helping, right? That's like his thing. One of his things.
Yeah, I wonder if mathematically it would still... So we can either aid or do the task, and we're not penalized for each character trying, right, Mike?
Yes, except in terms of time.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I see.
Because we only have 8
Right.
hours.
So we could all try, but then we might miss a task, basically?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
There are pre-selected skills for these checks, but I might entertain a different type of check if you make an incredibly strong case for an alternative and creative solution.
Oh, we're going to do that.
Let me tell you what happens with the different types of results. If you get a critical success, then you get double the listed preparation points, and you use the listed time. If you get a regular success, you get the amount of preparation points, not double, but just the regular amount, and you use the listed time. If you fail, then party members who haven't attempted the check and haven't aided an attempt may try again. And if this also fails, then you lose the preparation points and you cannot try again. And because you failed twice, it counts as a critical failure. And I'll tell you what that is in a moment. And the listed time is therefore used up. If you get a critical failure, it means you used up the listed time and you get no preparation points. Now, even if you critically fail, you can try again, but only if you have time left.
Right.
Like if you critically failed over and over and over again, and like you just said, we're just going to try the first task, we're just going to try it over and over again and not do anything else. If you just critically failed, you could use up your whole time just trying to do that one task.
Shaggy Jemvin was training us for this very moment.
Okay.
Hopefully we do a little bit better.
Can you give us an idea of the skill
Yep,
checks
I
for
will tell
each
you.
before we... Yeah, I mean, our characters would like rationally
I'll
think
tell
about
you.
what would be best. So.
I'll tell you. I won't tell you what the DCs are, but I will tell you what the skills involved are. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. First, there's clean up camp. All right, that's the first task. It is a crafting or a society check. You want me to go through all of them first, or you want me to just...
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't mind.
The second task is clear the trail. That is a survival check, and you only have that choice unless you come up with some other clever solution. The third task is Janette's favorite, dilute the spirits. It is either medicine or thievery. And then the last task is gather the herd, and it's either nature or diplomacy. Okay?
Okay.
Those are your 4 tasks. There's one other important detail. The different activities take different amounts of time. Cleaning up camp takes 1 hour, unless you critically fail and have to try again. Clearing the trail takes 2 hours. Dilute the spirits takes 1 hour. And gather the herd takes 3 hours.
Oh. Diluting spirits takes 1 hour?
That's right. Generally, the longer it takes, the
Higher the points are.
Although it doesn't scale 1 to 1. But yeah. What do you want to do first?
Nature and diplomacy are absolutely our weak points, I think, right, guys?
I've got a +3 in diplomacy.
+4 nature.
+4 nature diplomacy.
Yeah.
I feel like because that's going to take us the most amount of time.
Do it first. Or wait.
But if the other 3, which will be easier for us to accomplish, we can get on our first try, maybe they'll outweigh not getting the herd together very well.
If you get a critical success, you'll get double the points.
Yeah.
I say start with the other stuff. Save gathering the herd.
Jonesy, I was thinking, there's a lot of work to do today, and, we might as well have some hair of the dog after that rough sleep we had last night. To get us started, it's going to make things go a little smoother. What do you think?
Yes, I was actually thinking the same. If we simply drink a little bit of each one, then we'll add water to the amount we drank, and, it will be diluted in a sense.
I think that's exactly how it works.
Yes, how else would you do it, really?
I'm not quite sure that's what Grandfather had in mind, but it works. Let's do it.
All right, so
we could do that last and then make Constitution saves.
Are you going to start with diluting the spirits then?
Yeah.
Okay. You find the following's herbalism tent and the fermentation baskets within. The Broken Tusks used large, watertight baskets to ferment specific roots and herbs into mildly hallucinogenic alcoholic spirits. But dehydration and grogginess are common side effects. This would make for a poor start in the morning, but you might be able to either water down the spirits or remove the most toxic herbs. Someone needs to make a medicine or thievery check. Medicine to sort of figure out how much to water it down, thievery to remove the most toxic herbs. Who's doing it, and what are you doing?
Well, I don't want to brag, but I do have a +7 to medicine.
Oh, I was going to say that I have a +7 to thievery.
Oh, well then, by all means, the ladies first.
You could use the +7 to thievery to attempt an aid check for the medicine check, or the other way around.
Or, another idea, is that the +7 is such a good bonus that I feel like we should save that.
In case the first attempt fails.
In case the first one fails.
Yep.
And then Korgo could aid that person.
That is also wise.
I'll try to get him out. Hold on, I'll reach in there while you dilute it. Is Jonesy just gonna, chug everything?
No, I'm going to take the most toxic ones out and put them in my water bottle.
Okay, yeah.
It's going to be fun while you're hallucinating while we try to gather the herd.
Everything else?
Oh, I'm specifically saving it for the herd part.
Am I going first then? Am I doing a medicine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right.
I believe in you.
Oh, 19?
Well, let me see if I ate too.
Well, it doesn't matter. 19 is high enough.
Woo!
Is it a critical?
Even if you got a +1, it wouldn't make it a critical success.
What about a +2?
Even a +2 would not make it a critical success.
All right, then never mind.
Yeah.
What's your aid ability called, Josh?
Oh, don't call me out like that.
Sorry, Korgo.
Why am I expected to know my character sheet? What a ridiculous request. The bonus to roll is +4, so I think it makes me more likely to be helpful rather than give them a +4.
Gotcha. I thought it made the aid bonus higher.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not as cool. I'm not as cool as you thought.
You laboriously carry water over to the herbalism tent, going slowly so as to avoid spilling it. You pour the water into the fermentation baskets and remove some of the alcohol and put it in your own water bottle, apparently, along with some toxic herbs. And then you carefully close the baskets again. This takes 1 hour and earns you 1 preparation point.
Nice job.
Yeah.
He dusts off his hands. Dusts off his hands. I can't talk either today.
Wow, you're wasted already, Jonesy.
Yes, you should take it a little bit easy there, Jonesy.
Don't tell me what to do. I
jeez.
make my own decisions. Always telling me what to do.
So what's next?
Okay, do we want to gather loose supplies, pack stuff up, or clear the trail?
I'm basically useless for the rest of this, so whatever.
Yeah, I can do the craft for packing stuff up.
Whenever I go on a road trip, I'm the one to pack the cart. It's kind of like a fun game to get everything situated and fitting perfectly with no gaps in between anything. So I could give that a shot.
Well, then it might make sense to go ahead and do that now before clearing the trail, and we can gather the herd on the way back from clearing the trail.
Yeah, that makes a boatload of sense, Xankath. I like the way you think.
All right, so you're going to clean up the camp.
Korgo, you're pretty muscly, though. Could you maybe give me a hand? Lifting some of this heavier stuff.
Oh, even better. Maybe I can intimidate all these children to come help.
Oh, I like that idea.
with the DM's permission.
See, the thing is, you need to both clean up and convince other people to clean up. The crafting is sort of your cleaning and packing stuff yourself. The society is you're sort of persuading other people to do it. But, I would buy that you could use an intimidation check to try to get some other people to pick up their messes. Yeah, I like that.
Cool.
Go ahead. Roll an aid.
All right. What'd I get?
A 13.
13.
All right. That's not a success, so I'm just yelling at children.
Yeah, that is not, I'm afraid, that is not a success on an aid attempt.
It's worth a try, Korgo. Those children just don't respect you. I think it has something to do with the way that you coddle Brom.
Yeah, one of those children is Brom, and he just says, Dad! Puts his hands on his hips and goes back to playing. Go ahead, Andreas, and make your crafting check.
All right, Andreas puts his head to the task and looks at how he can get these, boxes and barrels and old furs and leftover sticks to all fit together on the travois.
Oh, cross my fingers.
Hey!
I got an 18.
Nice.
Nice job.
All right, not a critical success, but definitely a success. You walk around checking on preparations and reminding everyone that they are to be packed and ready to go early tomorrow morning. You help the mammoth tenders with packing extra fodder onto travois, and you return drop tools to their owners, and this takes 1 hour. And there's one more cool thing.
I find a magic sword.
What are the odds?
You are not far off.
+2 sword.
Ooh, what? You read the adventure,
A
Shaun.
barrel with 64 healing potions?
Moderate.
You also find an empty runestone ready to be crafted.
Ooh.
Oh, dope.
You try to find the owner, but no one claims it, and it's yours.
And how many preparation
that's
points
cool.
do I get?
1. That was a 1 preparation point activity, and you have used 2 hours so far.
Now, what's a runestone do? Does that add an ability to a magic weapon or something?
I can use it to transfer a rune from one item to another. So if I find like a flaming longbow that nobody wants to use, I can put the flaming onto the runestone, and then I can put the runestone, use the runestone to put flaming onto something else.
Oh, something else. Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Okay.
I think you can also use it just to enchant an item, can't you? I thought you could just use it for enchantments as well. Maybe not.
I think if it's blank, it doesn't have anything.
Oh, okay. All right, so what do you want to do next? You've got clear the trail, and you've got gather the herd.
I think we're going to clear the trail.
This is a 2-hour activity, and you need to make a survival check for this to succeed. You head east from the camp, checking the trail for dangers or obstacles so that the following can make quick progress in the morning. I need 1 player to make a survival check, and 1 other PC may aid them.
Could I make an argument for an aid for perception? So I'm looking around to see what needs to be cleared.
Sure, I would buy that. That sounds reasonable. Who's doing the survival check?
I got a +4. I could go for it.
I've got a +7.
Oh, never mind. Jonesy could do it.
Jonesy's very wise.
Yes, I'm not much for cleaning up, but I can spot a booby trap.
Let's see what I can do. 13.
Okay, well, it's not a critical failure, but it is not a success.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jonesy, you're on your own. Xankath doesn't spot anything helpful.
Jonesy just kind of walks around and kicks things and stumbles around and gets a 15.
Oh my gosh, it was DC 15.
Yes.
All right. Wow, you guys are killing it. So you walk warily down the trail, spreading out to search as much territory as possible. Jonesy spots something strange on the side of the trail ahead. It looks like a lump of moss and grass has been piled up. You recognize it as the nest of some bloodseekers, also known as sturges. You haven't disturbed them, though. You could try to destroy the nest, or you could simply mark the area so that the following gives the nest a wide berth.
I'm not sure if any of you noticed, but there is a giant mess of a sturge nest right over there. disgusting creatures. I don't believe that they are possible of redeeming themselves. We should probably just get rid of them.
But do we have the time for this, Jonesy? Is it just gonna, get one of us killed? Is it safe to leave them there by themselves if we, avoid the area?
All right, rules, explanation. Either destroying them or marking the area so that everyone avoids them counts as a success.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And we're doing milestone leveling.
And you're doing milestone leveling, so there's no reason to grind a combat encounter unless you just want to add some excitement.
Yeah, let's fight them.
Unless there's a magic suit of armor under the Bloodseeker nest.
Could be. Maybe they're collectors.
That's a good point, though. We could just put, like, those, wet...
Flagging tape.
Yeah, flagging tape,
Like
the police
flags,
tape.
Some caution tape.
right around it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
caution tape. There we go.
All right, so you get your roll of plastic caution tape out, and you put it on some posts, and you mark off the area, maybe some flashing lights.
Can't be too safe.
We station some children around the area, waving people away.
That's right. Children you don't like. Okay.
In little police uniforms.
Great. All right, great.
One of them has a captain's hat.
So that was 3 preparation points,
Whoa.
Oh, nice.
So we're sitting at 5.
which means you now have a total of 5, and you've used up 4 hours. You have 4 hours left.
Sweet.
You are really doing great here. No critical successes, but no failures. Not a single failure, except for the aid
Oh,
attempts.
but the last activity takes 3 hours.
The last activity takes 3 hours. So if you critically fail this, there's not going to be another attempt. You won't have enough time for another one. All right, so the last activity is gathering the herd. You walk across camp to where the herd is grazing, spread out over a large area, though they give the porcupine burrow plenty of space now. In fact, the mother porcupine and her porcupets waddle up to you, especially Xankath, as you approach the area, and the mammoths move farther away from you. And it immediately occurs to you, you might be able to make use of that.
Oh.
The herders are casually keeping watch. Someone must attempt a nature check to try to bring the animals into a smaller area so they can be quickly organized in the morning. Alternatively, you could attempt a diplomacy check to persuade the herders to do it for you.
It sounds like using the porcupine to push the mammoths around sounds like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to argue as a way to aid. I know only one person can aid at a time, but I could, if there's a smaller animal or like a large animal still, but a smaller, I could ride it, like ride a moose around, or if there's something horse-like, I could, or
we
a
know
tapir,
there's a moose.
I could ride and range out a little and, do the like cowboy herding thing, whatever you call that.
Is that your aid attempt?
That would be my aid. And I would want to use athletics.
There's no riding specific skill.
That's a good question.
Yeah, because your animal's doing all the work. You're just sitting there. Is that truly athletics?
I think nature's riding.
Is it?
I'm not sure. No, I'm not. I don't know. I'm guessing.
I've never ridden a horse, but from what I understand, it takes a lot of effort to stay out there.
You know what? But Josh is right. When I go down the rabbit hole, riding is a command animal action, which is under the nature skill tree. But I could run. I could just hoof it.
Riding a horse is terrifying too. Awful, awful beast.
All right, so you're going to try to use athletics to run around the mammoths very quickly.
Andreas is the horse.
That's not the most persuasive argument.
I can run for like 3 hours though, Mike.
But it really is cool.
What if you make some horsey noises?
That sounds like another nature check.
Yeah.
That's not what a horse sounds like.
Does anybody have anything that would persuade me more for an aid attempt?
Can I sneak behind the mammoths to scare them in the right direction?
I would say yes, except that if you critically fail this, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Good call. Do it. You got a hero point?
You do have a hero point.
I do have a hero point. Anybody else got a better idea?
I could just normal help, but that's not as cool as what you just suggested, or the writing thing.
Instead of trying to do, something unusual, you could make a nature aid check or a diplomacy aid check, either one of those.
Yeah, we all suck at that stuff.
Yeah.
My diplomacy is only +3. My stealth is +7.
What's Jonesy's nature and diplomacy?
+4.
Okay, Korgo can help Jonesy do either one of those.
Does nobody have higher than...
With better than a +7, though?
I can aid with a +8.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, yes. Let's go with that.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll this?
I guess so.
Let Korgo roll his aid first.
Okay.
Yep.
Nobody has higher than a +4 of nature?
No.
Oh, geez, I didn't realize that.
No.
Whoa!
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Critical helping.
Nice.
So Korgo rolled a 25. So it's not critical helping. You need to get a 30.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Regular helping.
But it is still a +1. All right, Jonesy. You got to roll a nature check or a diplomacy check, and you get a +1 to that roll.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Jonesy cautiously approaches. He pulls out...
Oh, one quick thing. Are you using the porcupine to help in any way?
Oh, yeah. Well, I can't guide the porcupine, though, so will it follow me?
Like, am I able to be with?
You don't need to roll anything if Xankath is going to help you use the porcupines.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you don't need to roll an
Yeah.
aid check for her to help you.
Then absolutely we use the porcupines.
Yes.
It doesn't help you on your roll. I'll tell you what it does if you succeed.
Okay.
Okay.
So he walks beside Xankath and says encouraging words to the mammoths.
Okay.
For a 13?
That's
14.
a total of 14. So close.
Oh, it was a
brutal.
15 again.
point.
Hero
Yeah.
point.
Hero point.
Can I hear a point?
You can.
Okay.
Come on, Mammothie.
Hey!
21!
Yeah.
So that's a 21. Or no, 22 with the 8.
That's right. You manage to collect the mammoths farthest away from the camp and lead them back to the main body of the herd. And then you set some guards to keep them in position. And because you use the porcupines to help you, it only takes 2 hours, which doesn't help you at all
nice.
because you
No,
still
but-
did everything. And so now you have 2 hours and nothing to do with them. But the important thing is you got 2 preparation points out of that.
Nice. That's 2 hours of drinking Jonesy spirits.
Yep.
Or could we do something else for more preparation points?
There's
We get her-
nothing else to do for preparation points, I'm afraid.
How many points did you say that was? How many did we get altogether?
You have 7 preparation points altogether.
Sweet.
1 for cleaning up the camp, 3 for clearing the trail, 1 for diluting the spirits, 2 for gathering the herd, for a total of 7. And you spent 6 hours.
Wow.
Thanks to that hero point, you didn't fail once.
Ooh.
Huzzah.
Nice. Sounds like a lot. We'll probably get drafted high next year.
We're going to be first pick.
Is there anything you want to do with your 2 hours that I wasn't expecting you to get of free time?
I'm going to go get dressed up and do my hair.
Jonesy, you don't have. Never mind.
Korgo looks real close at one of the spots on his head with it probably has 3 hairs sticking out of it on Jonesy's head, and it's like, yeah, you could definitely do some work on that.
Just you wait, young whippersnapper.
Well, Shaggy sees you getting all fancied up, and he says, "Oh, hey, do I need to get dressed up fancy?
Would you like to?
I don't know. I've never worn anything but this."
Well, it sounds like it's time for a makeover, Shaggy.
Oh boy, let's do a 2-hour Shaggy makeover.
This is what I come for.
This is the content people tune in for.
Just let me get out my makeup kit.
You got to montage this. Go.
So what is your approach for trying to fix up Shaggy so he looks presentable? Because he explains to you that Letsua has asked that you bring him to the Green Moon ceremony as a special guest, which is really unusual because none of you have ever been to the Green Moon ceremony before, even though some of you have been around quite a while. So it's really unusual that he would be invited.
Well, I'm probably going to need help from the rest of the team. This seems more like a 4-man job.
I need to sit on the chair and nod my head yes or shake my head no when I see outfits that I think work or don't work.
Andreas, do you have any of that black shoe polish you use to make your hair look like it's not quite as gray?
Well, I ran out ran out of it, but I've got the blue stuff.
I like blue.
Yes.
Xankath could bring one of her dresses.
Xankath does not own any dresses.
Oh, how
I own this.
terrible of me. You only have one outfit, Xankath?
Korgo, does Anka have a dress?
Come on, man. No.
Fine, you can wear one of my robes.
Okay.
And he looks through his suitcase, and he's got like 6 different very fine robes.
Oh.
Okay. As he's standing there in front of you, he sort of reaches under his hair and sort of pulls and tugs, and a pair of shorts just mysteriously appear, and he pulls them off. You're not sure where they came from, and then he takes the robes and sort of slips them on over him, and he sort of adjusts them and tightens them, and they are pretty much gone. There's only a little bit of the cloth sticking out from under all that hair. You're not sure exactly what happened to them. You can see a little bit of it near his feet.
Perfect.
As soon as Xankath saw the shorts appear, she did an about face and looked the other direction.
There was no need for it. There was nothing visible.
Better safe than sorry.
Okay, sure. So now you've dressed him up in your fancy robes. I feel special. Thank you.
Just wait one moment, one more thing.
And then he ties a little ribbon on top of his head in a bow.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
And the hair that you've tied in the ribbon sort of waves back and forth.
And Andreas is nodding, yeah.
Nailed it.
Come on, let's braid his beard, too.
Oh, sure. Xankath will braid his beard.
All right, you try, but he goes, ooh, that tickles. Stop.
Oh, that's awkward.
Oh, very sorry.
The hair sort of dances away from you.
His hair starts braiding your hair.
And then the bow's just gone.
All right. So you have successfully dressed up Shaggy and spent the 2 hours very productively. We'll skip to the night of the Green Moon, since you've spent the whole day productively, trying to get ready for an early departure tomorrow. And now your work is done, and it is time for celebration. A hearty meal of stewed meat and spirits is served to everyone in the camp, while Argakoa and her song singers in training take turns telling ancient stories of the world and of the ancestors.
Xankath stays towards the edges of the celebration, kind of keeping an eye outward.
Okay. Argakoa tells her story last. Ancient was the world, and frozen in its first winter. Ashen was even the moon above, white and cold. Warm came the spring, green and abundant. Happy was the moon, birthing a river of stars, the moontail. Freezing again was the world less ancient. Protecting her children was the moon, hiding them under a blanket of darkness. Returning came the spring with gifts, the abundance. We tell this story each green moon to remember. We tell this story to remember the cold and the warmth. We tell this story to remember the lost light. We tell this story to celebrate the thawing tundra and the green grass and the moon and her children, the gift of Sister Cinder, the fire. And everyone bows their heads and stands. And then the lords of the houses, other important followers, and your group proceed to Rockloom. And Shaggy stands to go with you and says, I'm so excited.
Me too. This is very cool.
Oh no, we're going to sacrifice him.
Well, you're going to eat him too. You're not just going to sacrifice him.
Of course.
I mean, we use everything here.
Nothing goes to waste.
Nothing goes to waste.
It is a long, quiet walk as each follower thinks about what the coming of spring means to them. You arrive to find Rockloom in the same excellent condition in which you left it. Murthig the Firekeeper, who is the Musk Ox house leader, lights a large bonfire in the middle of the standing stones, around which you are asked to place the ceremonial water baskets that you filled at the Gornok River.
This fire is good,
Murthig proclaims loudly, and everyone cheers.
By the grace of Sister Cinder's gift, fire, we know right from wrong. We choose right.
And more cheers erupt from the revelers.
The water is life. Fire and water can make good food, like stew. Too much fire can boil away water, and too much water can douse fire. Just as placing too much importance on one life, or on the lives of one group, can stifle or boil away the greater good. Water and fire are both part of the Broken Tusk way, and they must be used wisely so that we survive, just as we must be wise and kind to each other so that we survive.
Grandfather Ewa steps forward. It is time for announcements and celebrations. The standing stones of Rockloom rise from the plain, each animal sculpture glowing orange in the last flush of the setting sun. Grandfather Ewa beams at the assemblage, his wrinkled face a bit more youthful with the addition of colorful paints. He stays silent for a moment. Then, like thunder, he releases a guttural shout. He booms. The rest of the following shouts back in unison. The old man smiles.
It is a good night. The green moon has graced us with good weather. The Gornok River has blessed us with water. And our scouts have honored us with good food. Tonight, we mark the moment winter turns to spring. We also mark the transition from friend, and he looks at you, to follower.
The elder takes a handful of small tokens from Mammoth Lord Murthig.
Together, let us honor our newest Tusks.
The crowd whoops and cheers as he motions toward you, the newest official scouts and full members of the following. He points to Andreas, then Jonesy, Korgo, Xankath, Shaggy Shemvin, and Picano, and gestures for you to step to the front of the group, just in front of Ewa and the other house leaders.
State your names.
I am Andreas Witchborn.
I am Xankath Bramblesong.
Korgo.
And Jonesy.
I'm Shaggy Shemvin. And Picano sort of glares at the rest of you and says,
I'm Picano.
Ewa steps forward and presents each of you with a Broken Tusk pendant, which you can look up and add to your character sheet.
Oh, cool.
To Picano, Ewa gives a yellow and brown gemstone. Picano looks confused by this. Ewa also offers a black and blue gemstone to Shaggy, who immediately begins to weep tears of joy. Ewa walks back to his position at the front of the crowd, and as he walks by Korgo, he winks and says,
We must keep the hairy one on our side.
The crowd breaks into cheers, and Ewa beams at all of you, a huge grin of pride on his face. But this is interrupted by a shout of, No! And Picano leaves his place and stands in front of Ewa.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Everyone turns to look at him as his face flushes with anger.
It's time, Grandfather, to announce your successor. Who will become leader of Falcon House?
And the crowd of Broken Tusks gasp and whisper at Picano's insolent question. But Ewa's face doesn't crack.
You are headstrong, Picano, and hasty. Tonight is not for you, but for all Broken Tusks. If not now, then when? And if not me, then who? Don't tell me you're actually mistaking these fools, and he gestures at you, for true followers of the Broken Tusk.
Ewa offers no response, aside from a stern glare. Picano whips his face toward you and Shaggy, and scowls, his eyes full of hate.
You'll be sorry.
He turns toward the crowd.
You'll all be sorry.
Before he can continue ranting, a loud, oscillating cry interrupts him. In the darkness beyond the standing stones, a torch flame appears, then another, and then several more. Everyone, including Picano, looks around in confusion. Murmurs rustle throughout the following. Someone begins yelling. Monstrous faces, covered in blood-red markings, emerge from the fiery darkness. From that moment, everything else is a blur.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Oh,
I hate Picano.
Did the drinks hit? Is that what just happened?
Oh, Jonesy, I think you kept him too strong.
Thanks for listening to Broken Tusk Rising. You can help the podcast by giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, by following us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, by chatting with us on Discord, and most of all, by supporting us on Patreon. That's at patreon.com/thehouseofbob. This show is possible due to all our patrons who get special zines, one-shots, episode commentary, and other stuff for supporting the podcast. Art for this episode is by Shaun Makes. Audio production and music are by me, Mike Hammock. Thanks for listening, and roll on.
And don't forget to use a Shaggy voice.
In the intro?
Shaggy does the intro.
You want Shaggy to do the intro?
Yeah, do it.
I'm Shaggy Shemvin. Last time on... No, that's going to take too long.
That's going to take forever.
The heroes... Oh, gosh. What am I... I got to wing it. I'm used to scripting everything.
You need a beat? I got...
No, that's the
Go, Mike.
opposite of helpful.
Have we heard
There's nothing else to do for preparation points, I'm afraid.
Oh, come on. You're used to giving out extra credit. We know you've done it.
I am notoriously stingy with extra credit.
Oh, no.
I'm also the jerk who insists he doesn't round grades.
I am Andreas Witchborn. That's it.
Awa steps forward and presents each of you with a broken tusk pendant, which you can look up and add to your character sheet.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty awesome. You actually might want to just stop and check it out right now, if you'd be interested. In fact, yeah, let's just look this up
I would be interested.
because it's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and read to you what this does. I guess you probably would know what this does. It is a small ivory necklace. They're made from mammoth tusk and carved to resemble a particular kind of animal, usually a raven, a moose, an ox, or an otter.
The flavor on them is really cool.
Yep, they're pretty neat. But what's really cool is they give you a +1 item bonus to nature checks and +2 when you command an animal of the specific kind depicted by the pendant, and they're all mammoths. I think they're all mammoths. Actually, I don't know about that. It doesn't say what's on them. I assume they're mammoths.
Well, it says here that they're usually carved to resemble a raven, moose, ox, or otter.
Okay, well, it doesn't
Sounds
say
like
in the
whatever
adventure
house you're picking.
which of those they are. So I don't actually know that. I guess we'll have to figure that out sometime because I don't actually know what kind of animal is on them. But the really cool thing that it does is if an animal targets you with a melee attack and you can see the animal, you gain a +1 item bonus to your armor class against the attack, or a +2 item bonus if the animal is of the specific kind depicted by the pendant. It's pretty neat.
It is cool.
Mhm.
Very cool.
It is pretty neat. There's also a greater broken tusk pendant, but yeah, just look at the one that you've got. It's pretty cool.
I'll take the greater one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm cool with
well,
that.
Yeah.
no, he's not. He's not handing
Yeah.
those out right now. Sorry.
Oh.
It says here too that because tradition dictates that broken tusk followers take ivory only from already dead animals,
Right.
they are especially rare.
Yeah.
And if you lose it,
That's it.
it might be years before you can acquire materials necessary to replace it.
Pretty cool. Can anybody ululate? No.
No.
No. Okay. Never mind. I'll find it.
Not well enough to do
I'll
it
find
here.
the recording.
I don't even know what that is.
That's like
Yeah.
But less
Yeah.
chicken-like.
Well, there you go. She just did it. Good job, Jessica.
No, not well. See, this is why I was keeping an eye out.
Yeah, I know that's why Xankath was keeping an eye out, but she had to participate in the ceremony.
I was
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, he had to end early, but there's no way I'm starting this combat in the middle of an episode.
But we did all
No.
that preparation.
And you know what? It will pay off handsomely. Because it turns out this combat is affected by how many points you earned.
ooh.
So
Okay, I will stop
Okay.
complaining.
you could have earned more points from critical successes, but they're very hard. You did very well. The number of points you earned will definitely help out.
Good. Yeah, I thought we did really good.
You guys basically cruised through it. I expected to spend the whole time on those skill checks, frankly. I'm glad I prepared a little bit extra to go beyond that. I thought you guys would fail a few times and have to try some new things, but no, you just cruised right through them. So it's going to be a relatively short episode. It's probably going to be a 35, 40-minute episode instead of an hour episode, so that's okay.
Are we going to be level 2 after this combat?
Oh, I can't tell you that. That'd be spoiling things, wouldn't it?
But then we could prepare and be leveled up.
You're going to be real close to leveling up really soon.
Oh, we're always so close. All right, that's fine. It's not like level 2 makes us gods or anything.
I already know what I'm doing. Level 2.
I bet you
so.
already pretty
me
much
too.
know what level 2 is for you, right? Now, what I don't know is what am I supposed to do about Shaggy? Because there's no rules in here about leveling him up.
Oh, no. NPCs generally don't level up. And in some APs where NPCs are supposed to progress with you, they'll give you different stat blocks.
Okay.
So at some point, he will be irrelevant.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I mean, I haven't looked at the second part. Maybe there's an updated stat block for him in the second part. I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Shaggy will always be relevant, Shaun.
In my heart.
I mean, statistically irrelevant.
Yeah.
Not flavorly irrelevant.